There are very many really lovely things that you do. I very much like the way that you play it. Shall we start from the beginning and sort of see where we go? Okay, so sorry to stop you. The first thing I would say is that you can maybe come in a little bit more powerfully because you've had this very beautiful melody and you're sort of really interrupting it. Yeah. Maybe also, I see you've written release. I think you can release the sound a little bit more. When I had a teacher who always used to say with things like this you had to sort of schwung, it had to be more schwungy, and I think you have to sort of maybe think, instead of thinking of the note, I don't think you are thinking of it, but it's sort of, instead of it being sort of more of a straight line, it should have a little bit more sort of bounce to it, if that makes sense. So more that kind of, rather than just, yeah. Let's try maybe just a few bars. Yeah, that'd be great, thank you. Okay, and that was better. I think it can still have a little bit more power. Just try the first note. And then equally the same on the up bow. Maybe a slightly looser vibrato, just to, yeah, like. I've not played this, so I need to look at the music, sorry. And really sort of think of it going up a little bit more. Just try once, just the beginning. Exactly like that, but maybe with a little bit more urgency, a little bit more energy. Exactly. The only thing I would say now is maybe try to think how each note should have its own, that's beautifully connected. The line is great, but each note maybe could just have a little bit more of its own impulse. Exactly. Last thing I think for this phrase is maybe it can be more dim bum, sort of going up rather than dum dum. Or how are you thinking of that as up? So maybe a little bit more of a that kind of feeling. Okay. That can be, I think as you've written, less fib and maybe just sort of a little bit more kind of introverted sound. Sort of almost complaining, but not quite. That kind of feeling. That was really, really lovely. I think maybe just do it one more time, just to have the connection. Thank you. Exactly. Sorry. One other thing that I was just wondering about the vibrato and the end of the note. Maybe just sort of try and let it ring just a little bit more. That kind of rather.
Yeah.
Sort of almost answering. Maybe a slightly slower vibrato. Or even you could try just to get an idea of how it feels in the sound once just totally without. Just and also, sorry, one last thing for the second bar. The D sharp, maybe if there's a way of getting a little bit more sort of tension with the harmony. Exactly. How did that feel, doing it without vibrato? Did it feel strange, or?
Yeah, it always feels
It always feels strange, yeah. But just maybe with that kind of feeling of. Maybe a little bit more of a surprise that it comes back to the forte there also. Maybe just go from the piano.
Sorry.
Try once with a slightly looser vibrato, because it sounds lovely, but it's maybe a little bit too active. So rather than. And you can use vibrato very much to your advantage on the accent anyway, a little bit more. Sorry, one other thing I would say is, although it has to be sort of a surprise, I think you have to be have a little bit more space as well, just to sort of let the note die away. If you were singing it, you'd have to take a breath. So just sort of, it has to be a very short one, but I think you can have, whilst interrupting, taking a little bit of time as well. Complete contradiction, I know. And that can be even more, maybe. It's not an accent as such, I don't think. It's more of a... Try not to rush too much on the last two notes. They're moving ever so slightly forward. If you can sort of keep it a bit more behaltend, then I think it will help. Last thing, just the B flat, the B natural, just keep the note a teeny bit longer. Just the length of the note, just a tiny bit longer. Okay, that was lovely. Maybe just slightly less gap, but just somewhere in the middle. Now, when we go on to here, I mean, there's a crescendo, which you can do even more of, just to sort of grow the feeling of tension and of sort of, wondering what's going on, basically. So just a little bit more, just think a little bit more forwards. Maybe just one more time from there. Thank you. Okay, that was great. Maybe try not. Yeah, try not to. I know it's when you're going to the on up bow, E string, it's harder, but really try. Maybe just go from the forte, please. I wonder if there's a way of not connecting them, but the connection between the down and the up bow is great in terms of sort of there not sort of being a break. Maybe there's a way of doing that the other way around. So when you go from the E string to the G string, even though you need that impulse, which is fantastic, just maybe having the line more sort of 4 bars rather than either 2 or 1 by 1, if that makes sense. So instead. So it's getting to the lower note a little bit quicker. Exactly, but without losing the wonderful line that you have and the tension. I think somewhere in between. Just one more time, and then we'll go on. That's beautiful. If the only thing I would say is maybe listen to the left hand a little bit more and sort of really sort of try and connect it with that. If we could just really... Just to sort of try and have that sort of sudden stillness that we get there. Maybe just from the C's, the bar before the piano, please. Okay, maybe we could just have a little bit more decrescendo. Just a little bit, just to sort of, because it then helps it to calm down without you having to do too much as well. You can take a little bit more time there.
Okay.
Exactly. So if maybe having a slightly warmer sound on the F, I know the stretch is not a friendly. Just that kind of sound. I mean, it sounds lovely, but I think that you can create more of an atmosphere if it's just maybe just a slightly warmer sound, still within the piano, but maybe just from the piano is fine. It's maybe when you land, try and sort of almost semi-prepare. Just with, if you have the hand over the left hand, just slightly over the fingerboard a little bit more, that will facilitate. So if it's a little bit more rounded here, something like that. I don't know if that feels more uncomfortable or not, but for me, because I've got small hands, that always helps. And try. It's all in one bow. It sounds great, but just sort of try and feel a little bit freer with it. I think that will also help to facilitate a slightly calmer sound. That's beautiful. If the decrescendo can just be there rather than there a little, just it's only a very, very small thing, but it makes all the difference, I think. That's beautiful. I just wonder if it can have maybe a slightly more dolce, ever so slightly more dolce. And with the shape, are you thinking of it like that and like that, or that as one phrase, as one? So maybe just have a little bit more freedom. It's not a question of sort of taking time, but just if you were singing it, how would you sing it?
Should I be singing? Yeah.
If you'd like to, you don't have to, or you can just think about how you'd sing it and then play it, entirely which you feel more comfortable with. Okay.
Directly?
Yes, please. Exactly. Maybe not to start right at the tip there, because otherwise you have to sort of go quite, and that also creates, if you started a little bit. I think you can maybe do just a little bit more to create the sort of end of if you were singing it, you'd have to take a little bit more time. So try just to let the C ring that little bit more, and then just breathe into it. Sorry, one last thing. Maybe try to keep the finger sort of with the vibrato all the way through, so just the articulation is just within the right hand. So So that was beautiful. Here, I think you can have a little bit more agitation within the sound. The feeling is a little bit more sort of, where are we going? So it's just a little bit more of an answer. What dynamic would you like the crescendo to go to there?
I wouldn't make it too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like a soft mezzo forte.
Yeah, so maybe then just a little bit more crescendo. That was lovely. So maybe just go from dee bum dee da dee da dum. One thought here, maybe instead of dropping away a little bit, maybe if you keep that, just a little bit. Exactly.
Yeah, I have to,
Yeah, that was lovely. Just take a little bit of time there, but maybe a little bit more of the, it's not an accent, but a little bit more of the stress on the D sharp to. Just a little bit more. Same place, please. So just here again, just be careful with the end of the note, and maybe just the legato is lovely, but seeing as we go into, just maybe even a little bit more rounded. Yes, please, one last time. That was lovely, and the piano it's great. I love the shape that you have. When you get to here, maybe hand it over a little bit more to your duo partner there. Sort of so that it becomes a little bit more of a conversation, a little bit more dialogue. If you just go from the piano, please. I think you can have, still keep the energy of. Just a little bit more energy there. That's lovely, great dynamics. I wonder if that one can have, it's not a question of taking time, obviously, because there's no room to take time, but just a little bit more of a colour change. Just, it's very, very minimal, but just a little bit more, please. If you could just go from the piano one more time. That would be great, thank you. Maybe that note can be just a little. Obviously forte at the end, but yeah. That was beautiful. Just be careful with the semi-quavers that they don't sort of run forwards. Just it's very, very tiny, and I love the direction that you have, but maybe if they're just a little, because they're you're really making a point there. You repeat it 4 times, so maybe just a little bit more active in the fingers as well. Do you think the diminuendo goes all the way to there, or is it more of a sort of localized diminuendo?
I think if you go to the first time, it's definitely diminuendo.
Yeah.
The second time, I think because the B sharp,
B flat.
B flat.
B flat. It's okay.
B flat, it's going.
Because of the B flat, it's going. Yeah, exactly. So, but maybe make a little bit more of the diminuendo, and then you can sort of grow it a tiny bit.
Okay.
Sort of just a little bit more, and a little bit more space with the D sharp going into the E. Maybe just the last. You can maybe take a hair more time. Maybe just a tiny bit. Just from the double bar, please. And one thing, maybe again, a slightly more relaxed vibrato, not sort of massively, but just to sort of help to create the feeling of calmness. Maybe somewhere in the middle. just somewhere in the middle would be great. Thank you. Just a thought. Maybe this one can be a little bit quieter. The torso. And maybe try just as an experiment, just to try completely without any vibrato at all, just to sort of see how it feels and how you feel and how it sounds. Maybe I don't know. Where's a good place to start? Yeah, from the double bar maybe, if that's okay. Thank you. So how did you?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. The one thing I would say then here is maybe you can make a little bit more of that, and again with what's going on in the piano. Sort of slightly twisting the knife in one more time, and then not.
Yeah.
If we could just go from the upbeat to whatever bar that is. What bar is it? Yeah, exactly. Just the first one, please. Thank you. No problem. Here, I think, again, maybe make a little bit more, and also the fact that instead of going up this time, we're going down. So before we've gone, this time it's. So really sort of make a little bit more of the G sharp, possibly. And here, I think if the note can just sort of, it's almost like being on a precipice and then sort of landing on the forte. So. Just maybe a little bit more forwards into it this time round. So if we just start from 87, please. Yeah. Be careful not to lose, that was lovely, be careful not to lose the energy on the F. And maybe to connect a little bit more, I know that they have their own separate impulses, but just to connect the F to the E. Just so instead of lifting the bow to create the impulse, to do it with the right arm in a different way. This one I think can be a little bit more open in sound and with the dolce even. It's a little bit sunnier.
Yeah.
So. Maybe with this one also, it can have a little bit more of that kind of shape. So just sort of thinking it through a little bit more as well, just to get to that point. Sorry to stop you again. Maybe as you've written here, just the C can just sort of sing out. Just you can sort of maybe linger on it just a hair longer. just almost imperceptibly, but just a tiny bit. And here, like before, I think you can have a little bit more tension and a little bit more sort of direction towards the forte, and then the harmony change to the piano. It's fine. Exactly. And here, I wonder if there's something that we can do a little bit more with that being a slightly more legato kind of separation, and with this, with the character change, maybe becoming just ever so slightly more separated. So for the dolce, and then just a little bit more of a kick between. So maybe if we could just do the piano dolce, that would be great. So yeah, I think that if like the second one was just sort of had that little bit more energy, and here I think you can probably take just a hair's breadth more time if we could just. Just to sort of have that kind of shape. Just from the C would be fine, thank you. That was lovely. Just one thing, again, try not to let that taper off at the end. I exaggerate, but just to sort of keep the note going. Otherwise, the piano is a little bit more of a surprise. I know you've written less there, so that's fine, but just maybe if there's a way of sort of showing just that interval a little. Maybe just ever so slightly longer, just so that it doesn't, so that you really hear that interval. Maybe just the beginning of 118, please, just from there. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It sounds lovely. You sort of just like you have that kind of slight interest there. Maybe it could be ever so slightly less short as well. So rather, just a little bit longer. The forte, I think, can be a little more forte. I'm not landing on it with an accent, but going back to that sort of schwung feel. If we just go from, please. And maybe just to have the feeling of going dum dum team dum dum bum bum, or just maybe not quite that much, but just to sort of just to have a little bit more. Well, Actually, that would, yeah, with the forte there, maybe not that, but just to have that sort of the line going through just a little bit more. Okay, so I think you can take a little bit more time. Really sort of to show the interval and also to show the what is sort of what is coming, not what is coming, but the, just to sort of really make a statement with that B flat. Maybe just the same place, just one more time. Exactly. Great. I'm really sorry. I think we have to stop, but thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.